Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So today I'd like to talk to you about the holdings that ULTY has and also Feet and 5e. They changed their underlyings 3 business days before the end of the month. So this is the holdings that Feet and 5e will have during August. And it's Carvana, they have YBit, Netflix, Robinhood, and Coin. So I approve of all of these. I want to be able to get out of Carvana and Robinhood as soon as they lose momentum, which it's not perfect because they only change it out once per month. And they're trying to predict what's the most momentum, but sometimes things like really, really lose momentum. So it's just the gamble that you make with this kind of fund. But I think that these are interesting for the 5 that they have picked for this time. So, and if you don't remember, Feet is the one where it's 100% yield max ETF, so you get a higher distribution. 5e is the one that I like more personally. I think that over time you will get more appreciation because it's a 60-40, 40% in the underlying and 60% of the yield max. So you get lower distributions but more upside potential. But for ULTY this time, I've decided that I'm actually going to try to keep track, at least whenever I do the Feet and the 5e ones, to just see where we are with ULTY holdings, because for a really long time they had the TQQQ, and I really liked that, but it looks like they got rid of that for now. But instead they have the 2x long VIX futures. So basically, right now the VIX is very elevated, so they're trying to do a volatility play, just straight up volatility, which I appreciate. Then I'm not even going to pretend to know what all of these companies are, so we're going to go to, I asked Gemini what they do and what price they're at. So Applied Optoelectronics, they do fiber optic networking for internet data centers, and they're at $21.53, which means technically it wouldn't be too bad for us as retail investors to do a dividend wheel on it. AppLovin is a company that it's a gaming software basically, but it's at $380, so that's MicroStrategy expensive and $38,000 to do a cover call on, so I wouldn't do it myself. Maybe do a Leaps if you want to do options on it. The Space Mobile is the space-based cellular broadband network. Bitmine Immersion Technologies is a cryptocurrency miner. It's at $34, which is still only like $3,000 if you want to do an options contract on it. I don't think it found Webull, but it's a brokerage company. Then we have Galaxy Digital. They are a blockchain company. Robinhood is a brokerage. Data, which is data engineering and AI solutions. INQ, which is commercializing quantum computing hardware. They have Mara, which is Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin treasury company. MicroStrategy, also Bitcoin related. Nebius Group, NV. They provide cloud computing and AI services. So I think for the most part, at least this snapshot in time, because they don't have to keep things around for a month or any period of time, but just on August 1st, they are very heavy in Bitcoin crypto, AI, fintech, and these are all the things that they have more implied volatility. So I don't think there's anything in this right now that I could point a finger at as someone that has not actually done like a scorecard on each of these companies to say like this is a good one or this is a bad one. A lot of these I've heard about, I just don't really know about them. So I do know that SMCI, the SMCY actually had a higher dividend than Misty this time. So I think some people are more excited about SMCY than they have been in the past. So for Financial Philharmonics, we have Numbers Don't Lie. It is a new metal song about how sometimes the data, like the data is the data, the numbers are the numbers, but sometimes we can transform them into, like we can use it to our own agenda and say that this number means this thing, and it actually kind of means the opposite thing. So that's what that is about on the Financial Philharmonics. How did you feel today for ULTY during this little pullback that we've had? Because I personally was pretty impressed with how it was working out, and it stayed within the $6. So ULTY has not 100% solved NAV erosion. It's not possible, but what they have done is protect against days kind of like today, where if the company goes down 30% in one day, that's what ULTY protects against. If this happened over the course of 3 months and we lost 5%, ULTY would still go down as the price of it. So I think that little bit of hedge is really worth it when you're in so many really high implied volatility things. But one thing I want us all to do is, because, well, someone in my audience asked me if I could do a beginner options tutorial, and at some point I will. But if we all believe in ULTY, we should all start selling puts and using this option chain, because it's kind of laughable that we only have this quarterly, and if more people would sell options on ULTY, eventually there would be enough options on ULTY that they would go weekly. And I don't know how popular the fund has to be, but it could start being that they have it every day. And so you can get 0-date expiration on something like ULTY eventually. Right now it's quarterly. Not a lot of people are doing options on ULTY. And as far as I'm aware, Misty is the only YieldMax fund that has a decent options chain. But the way that I view this, and let me open up a new Robinhood view. And what did you all buy today? Because I did buy some ULTY in my Roth account. I was pretty excited about that. So if you wanted to buy, just not use options, but buy 100 shares, the better way to do this is you do the stop limit order, and you say, this is the price that I'm willing to pay for this, or limit order. And this is the price I'm willing to pay for it. This is the number of shares that I want. And so maybe it's like, it's at $6 now. I'd be willing to buy it at like $5.58. I want 100 shares, and then you can say I want it 24 hours, extended hours, and then either it expires on Monday or it expires or at the end of the next business day, or until October 31st. So when you do a simple dividend wheel, the first thing you have to do is find an underlying that you would not mind owning. And ULTY is actually something I would not mind owning. And this particular option chain is expiring on August 15th. We also can do it on September 19th, October 17th, or January 16th. So if we do it from 15, which is 2 weeks from now, what price would I be happy about buying ULTY at? Because, for example, it's at $6.04. So if we sell a put for $6, it means that we would get $15 in premium, and then if the price goes below $6, then you have to purchase it at $6. So but the important thing to point out here is that the price was at $6.04, and if you did a market order, that it may have been like $6.05 or $6.10. So the stock is more expensive than what you're putting the puts at, and that's an important thing to do. And then if you don't want to close out your position when it's about to expire, you can roll it over, but for a simple dividend wheel, it's fine to just sell the put, get $15, and then when it expires, or if it's really deep in the money, it could get assigned early, but then you'd have to spend $600 and buy 100 shares. And then when you sell the call, you'd say, I sold the put for $6, so I have to sell my call at least at $6. And this is the thing, like, nobody is trading ULTY, so it's kind of illiquid, and so you'd have to go probably like out and see what everyone is offering. Also, this is not during market hours, so the prices will change all the time. But technically, you should be able to find it, and then you can click into these and you get more things like the Greeks. And the only one I ever really paid attention to was the delta. And the way the delta works is if you do a rounding by 10, so we would say like this is a 0.4, that's a 40% likelihood of this contract being executed on you. So a lot of people want to keep it at because the further out of the money that you go, the lower the delta. So you want it to, I'm not going to tell you what you want it to be, but some people like going like 80%, or I guess 20% at this point, but like you want it to be like only 2 times out of 10 will I get called away, or 1 time out of 10 I'll get called away, or not called away, but have to purchase it. And then when you do the call, the delta is different. So you'd go here and you would say the delta is -3. So this is really not the best option chain to use as an example, honestly. But I think that if more people would get excited about ULTY and use the options, then once there's more volume of options, we can get weekly, and it would be better for everybody, because it would be really exciting to me to get an 80% distribution and then do cover calls on it and get basically 100% distribution every single time. Or if we can get people to trade and then it becomes 0 day expiration, then I can make money off of ULTY every single day. So just putting that out there. What do you think about, what stock would you recommend to beginners to start doing options on their own? And for me, I think the real answer is just YMAX, for so many reasons. But most of the time, when there's a company that you wouldn't mind owning, it's going to be a more expensive company, a bigger part of your portfolio. And with people like me with smaller accounts, we don't really have $30,000 to put into a single trade, or more or less. Even $10,000 or $7,000 is a little bit of a stretch for me. So hopefully you found this entertaining, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.